The Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan on December 27, 1979. Their military intervention officially began in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, and quickly spread to various regions of the country. The primary goal of this operation was to support Afghanistan's Marxist-Leninist regime and maintain the government's control during the Civil War. However, the Soviet intervention ultimately lasted over 10 years and resulted in severe military and political consequences. Now let's delve into a completely unresolved incident that occurred in Afghanistan in 1983, specifically in the city of Kunduz. In this video, you will officially see classified documents, interrogation records, photographs, and more. In short, the 201st Motorized Rifle Division was stationed in Kunduz province, commanded by Major General Nikolai Ivanovich Sergeyev. In April 1983, a report came from the small village of Baluch near Kunduz. The bodies of 5 mujahideen had been discovered. However, mujahideen were not supposed to be in this area, as it was relatively well controlled by Soviet forces. Sergeyev ordered soldiers to go to the site and investigate what had happened in Baluch. When the soldiers arrived, they encountered an entirely unimaginable scene. The bodies were missing their legs. As one of the soldiers, Artyom Chapiev, stated during interrogation, the bodies were covered with a white cloth. When the commander ordered us to remove the cloth, the bodies were missing their legs. There were 5 bodies at the site. We got the impression that they had simply been amputated. Our doctor, Roman Vorobyov, told us that he had never seen anything like it and that the operation had been performed with extreme precision and cleanliness. Sergeyev contacted the squad and was briefed on what they had found. He ordered the soldiers to interrogate all the villagers. The villagers were instructed to gather in the center of the village. 50 villagers were questioned, but all said the same thing. The bodies had been found in the morning. The villagers told the Soviet troops that they had not heard any gunshots or anything similar. The Soviet soldiers present were deeply confused and could not understand what this strange incident was. There was no trace of blood anywhere. Sergeyev ordered 20 soldiers to remain in the village and conduct a full patrol. Additionally, a helicopter was dispatched to patrol the nearby small mountains, but nothing unusual was found. A week later, the troops returned to the military base. However, a month later, a Soviet Mi-8 helicopter crashed near the same village. The Soviet troops immediately headed to the village in emergency mode. Upon arrival, the helicopter crew was already dead. Captain Said Magomedov ordered the soldiers to gather all the residents in the center of the village. Artyom Chapiev recounted during interrogation. Captain Said Magomedov ordered us to bring all the villagers out of their homes and gather them in the center of the village. We gathered almost everyone, the elderly, children, and so on. Magomedov shouted that if they didn't tell him what had happened, he would destroy everyone. Everyone remained silent. If you ask me, no one really knew anything. Magomedov took a large stick and began beating one of the elderly men. Then he started beating others. No one could say anything. Then he ordered the arrest of several men. We detained 10 men and took them to Kunduz prison. Sergeyev was deeply confused. First, the bodies of 5 mujahideen and now a crashed helicopter. All of this reached the commander of the 40th Army, Lieutenant General Leonid Vasilievich Generov. He immediately demanded that Sergeyev investigate the matter and send the bodies to Kabul. The bodies were sent to Kabul on April 22, 1983. The fate of these bodies remains unknown. Even stranger events were yet to come. The village of Baluch and surrounding villages were placed under full control with 24-hour patrols. On the night of May 18, 1983, a powerful light illuminated the area about 5 miles north of the village, witnessed by many, including Soviet soldiers stationed there. The light was also visible from Kunduz. Sergeyev urgently ordered troops to be sent to the area to investigate the source of the light. One important detail: this light was not accompanied by the sound of an explosion or anything similar. 2 Mi-8 helicopters were dispatched toward the light. When they arrived, they encountered a small, damaged aircraft. No one was inside the plane, but a Danish flag was painted on its exterior. Everyone was confused. Sergeyev was on the front lines and ordered the pilots to be found immediately. A search was launched, both from the air and on the ground. The search was unsuccessful. The next day, in the morning, two blonde individuals appeared at a checkpoint, heading toward it. The soldier thought they were Russians, as they were not dressed like Afghans and were blonde. As they approached the checkpoint, they began speaking in a foreign language unfamiliar to the Russian soldier. The soldier decided to detain them. These two individuals were dressed as climbers. During the search, Danish passports were found. These individuals were Erik Agard and Arne Fredriksson, both Danish citizens. Within an hour, they were taken to the Kunduz military base, where Sergeyev personally began interrogating them. The first question was about the aircraft. Was the small plane theirs? The Danes replied that it was, but they had no idea what country they were in. Sergeyev became suspicious and thought they might be American agents. He asked them when they had entered Afghan territory and so on. Arne Fredriksson stated, "We were flying from Denmark to Norway when we encountered a severe storm. The plane was damaged and we were forced to make an emergency landing. When we got out, we saw a completely unfamiliar landscape. Miraculously, we survived. Erik had a broken nose. We took water and bags and headed south. After about an hour, we heard the noise of a helicopter, but in the darkness, we couldn't tell where it was coming from. In the morning, we accidentally came across your checkpoint where we were detained." Sergeyev did not believe their story and questioned them about the Mujahideen whose legs had been amputated. However, the Danes had no idea what Mujahideen meant. Arne told Sergeyev, "I don't know what Mujahideen means. I didn't even know I was in Afghanistan." Sergeyev contacted the commander of the 40th Army, Lieutenant General Leonid Vasilyevich Generov, and informed him of everything. Generov urgently demanded that both Danes be sent to Kabul, where KGB officers would interrogate them. In short, even the KGB did not believe their story. The Danes requested to contact the Danish embassy to confirm that they were Danish citizens and not American. Something very strange happened next. Both Arne and Erik were taken to Moscow, where they were visited by a representative of the Danish embassy. Arne and Erik told him they were residents of Viborg and provided a phone number to contact their relatives. As recorded in the KGB files, the embassy representative told them it was a very strange number, and when he tried to call it, the number simply did not exist. The embassy representative, Erik, and Arne were all in shock, as were the KGB officers present. It was later discovered that the passports the two Danes had were different from real Danish passports, and the aircraft's serial number was nowhere to be found. In short, there was complete astonishment and confusion. All of this was reported to Dmitry Ustinov, the then Soviet Minister of Defense. He personally took charge of the case and even met with the Danes. He spoke to them and asked them to admit that they were American agents. However, they categorically denied it. There was also a meeting with the Americans who denied that these two individuals were their citizens or agents. What happened next regarding these individuals is unknown to me. Similar unresolved incidents have occurred, are occurring, and many of you are aware of them. Many are classified, but such events happening on Earth are entirely real, and many scientists agree with this. It's not for nothing that they say different dimensions exist.